I just wanna let it go for the night. That would be the best therapy for me. All the crazy shit I did tonight, those would be the best memories. I just wanna let it go for the night. That would be the best therapy for me. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. All the crazy shit I did tonight, those will be the best memories. I just wanna let it go for the night. That would be the best therapy.
So hello everyone, this is the Sports Show podcast, and today we're joined with Jamie McDonagh. How are you, mate?
Okay, G.
Yes, I'm alright, thank you. So before we get into the football then, the thing that people want to hear, well, I'll just ask a wee simple question. If you could have a dinner party with 3 people, who would it be?
Out of everyone in the world?
Everyone in the world, dead or alive.
Eric Cantona, George Best, and Beyonce.
United supporter then, yeah?
Yeah.
Right, so we'll just get straight into football then. What made you get into football growing up?
I was always just kicking about in the car parks, and with mates, I was always playing football, and then I think it was about 7 or 8. Someone I knew, my mum, ended up coming to her and says that he started coaching in the team, and he would like me to come along, which is Hillsborough Boys. So I went down for a few sessions and enjoyed it. So I started off my career at Hillsborough, and that's just where I started. And I got on with the manager, my coach, really well, and sort of my family. So it all started from there, really.
So then, whenever you were growing up, then did you always know you were going to be a footballer, or you wanted to be one?
I think I always wanted to be one. I knew it was sort of far fetched. It's hard to be a footballer, and all kids growing up want to be footballers. So it was either be a footballer or a fireman when I was growing up. So
Class.
Yeah, that was what I wanted to be when I grew up. I always wanted to be a footballer, and
Yeah.
I'm sure there's many kids out there that want to be footballers.
Yeah. What advice would you give the young footballers then, trying to become a professional?
It's probably a bit of cliche, but just work hard. You need a bit of luck at times as well, and always, no matter how many things are going on in your life, you still need to focus on football. If that's what you want to do, your full focus needs to be on football, and not just here and there. You need to focus on it, 100% of the time, not 99% of the time. And your full life needs to be dedicated to it. So just dedicate your whole life to football, and you'll get the rewards for it.
Yep. So then, can you give us a rundown then of whenever you went to St. England at the start of your career?
Yeah, it was. So before all that, I was playing for Hillsborough, then I went to Portadown, and then I signed for Linfield. I was actually never in any of the county teams or anything like that, and I went up for a trial in one of the county games, and I ended up getting into the counties. I think it was under 14s or 15s, and then I got into the Victory Shield team, and we went and played the Victory Shield, played 3 games, and I scored in all 3 of the games. And I think there was a couple of clubs started looking at me then. Went on a few trials here and there, and I went over to Sheffield, and I enjoyed it. I liked it over there, and then I went to Leeds, and I just didn't get the right feeling about Leeds. It just wasn't right. And then I decided that, Sheffield wanted to sign me, so I decided to sign there. So I had my missus now. I was still going out with her at the time. So although you're young and you want to, at the time we were saying to each other, "Oh, we'll try and stay together" and stuff like that. it was probably, you probably had at the back of your mind, it was probably not going to work out. But no, it was hard leaving her, and it was hard leaving my family. So yeah, packed my bags and moved across, and I found it difficult for the first 4 or 5 months, just getting into the swing of full-time football, and having that lifestyle, living away from your family, and you're still only 16, you're still young, like, and I was always looked after really well. I had a stepmom who my dad used to go out with at the time. She looked after me and done everything for me, and sort of my mum and dad. But it was just, I was a bit starstruck when I went across, because I was going in, and, you were seeing the likes of the first team training and all the first team players. And, at that time when I was 16, I thought, might be too much, because I'm only a wee boy here, thrown into a big pond. So it takes you a while to get into it. And, once I got sort of used to the full-time football, and I made a few mates, I sort of stuck it out for the first while. I think if I didn't stick it out the first while, I probably would have been home within 5 months. So, you just have to stick it out, and I stuck it out, and, went on to have probably the best time of my career, like outside of football wise, over in Sheffield, just because of the lifestyle over there was just so good. And I'm grateful that I went over there, and grateful that I'm happy that I stuck it out at the time.
Yeah, and when you're over in England, then you played for a few different clubs, but the most games you played for was with Greenock Morton, isn't that right?
Yeah, there's Scotland. Yeah.
Oh, is that Scotland, is it?
Yeah.
I thought that was England.
Scotland
I
League
don't know.
One.
Right, okay. So then, well, you were playing over there then. Is that they're a professional, aren't they? Or semi?
Yeah.
Professional side?
Yeah.
So how was that for you? How were their facilities and all that stuff?
I went straight from Sheffield United to Greenock Morton. It was an eye opener, just because the facilities aren't as good, the standard of player isn't as good, the lifestyle wasn't as good. I didn't have much mates going there because I didn't know anyone else in Scotland, so it was hard. That was hard as well. Like moving, packing my bags and going up to Scotland. I was just having a wee baby at that time too, so that was even harder for me. But yeah, that season I done really well, and I lived by myself. And the same again, it was hard for the first 5 or 6 months. I was fine with the football side of things. It was the lifestyle that was sort of difficult at that time.
Yeah, and then after your contract then expired, then you came back to Ireland then, and you signed for Sligo Rovers, a short spell there.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
So how was that for you then, signing for Sligo?
It was actually Jared Little that signed me at Sligo.
Right, okay.
So when I came, because I wanted to come back home because of the wee baby and stuff, so I knew I didn't want to come up here. I had this thing in my mind that the Irish League wasn't great, and just from the outside looking in, because I didn't really know much about the Irish League in terms of the Irish League up here, I didn't want to come and play in this league because I thought it wasn't good enough and I was better than it. And thinking back now, it was stupid of me to think that, because when you look at the standard of our league at the minute, it's unbelievable. So at that time, I knew I wanted to go down south and try my trade down there. And Jared Little knew me agent at the time, so ended up being a free agent, and he wanted to sign me, so I signed there. And because I knew it was only down the road, I think in my head it was fine. So once I went straight down there, it was fine. I went in this, they were mid-season as well, so it made it a wee bit easier. I just went straight into playing games, and he gave me the opportunity to play straight away, basically. So he threw me in, and we were in a relegation battle at the time, but we ended up staying up. So it was good to have that sort of experience of being in a relegation battle as well.
Yeah, and then you signed for Derry City. You had played a few years there. Did you have a good experience then?
Sorry, what was that?
Did you have a good experience at Derry once you signed for them?
Oh yes. So Derry, again, that was probably one of the best times of my career football wise. was playing under Kenny Shields. His style of football really suited me, and we had Rory Hale and Ronan Hale played at the time, so we used to travel up and down together. So yeah, it was very good. We won the EA Sports Cup the first year. I think I got the final the second year and the third year, I think, as well. So I played in Europe when I was there as well. I made so many good friends, and I think the style down there really suited me. Just the way they play their football, and they sort of, you have it, we have it, and see what you can do. So it's that type of football where they respect each other that much, where you have a lot of ball at times, and when I get a lot of the ball, I think that's when I'm playing at my best.
Yeah, and do you think as well that that's why it was maybe one of the best or the happiest moments of your career because your mates and all with her?
I knew Rory from obviously growing up, so no, I think me and Rory and Ronan get on well, really well. So obviously, it made it a lot easier. And then the mates that I made there was, I'm still speaking to them now. So it was just a good group of players that we played with, and a good group of players as well.
Yep. So then after a few years at Derry, then you signed for Glentoran, and that season you came second in the league. Do you think it's had the strength to go on and win it that year?
I think squad wise, when you're looking in, you probably think we could have pushed a bit more, but I think the bad start of the season sort of killed us. But with the players we had in the change room, I thought we were definitely capable of it. But Linfield have that know-how of winning league titles, and they're the best at it in the business. So we were a group of players who'd never been in that situation before. So they probably stayed them in good stead for this year because they've been in that situation last year. So I'm sure they'll, I know they got a draw yesterday, but I'm sure they'll be up and about it this year still, and they'll definitely be challenging coming the split. So at the time, I thought we had good enough players to go do it. It was just, at the start of the season we weren't great, and then we dropped stupid points here and there, would cost us.
Yeah, and then during that season as well, you're playing the Europa Conference League as well. Did it feel any different playing sort of in Europe as well?
Yeah, well, I think the game we played against Motherwell, or the foreign team we played, I think there was no fans allowed in, so it's difficult when there's no fans. It's hard because you don't have the atmosphere and what you normally would have. So,
yep.
But you're coming up against top teams in Europe, and there is a different vibe to it. So it's good to play against teams like that, and see what you're like, and are you good enough to play in Europe and at the top level. I think we done well, to be fair, to get to where we got to. We probably a bit disappointed with the result over in Wales, but it was an experience, and they've got that in the bag for hopefully next season.
Yeah, and then this season, then at the start of the year, you signed for Cliftonville. Then how was that signing for you
then? I knew straight away, come the end of the season, that Paddy was interested, and I think anyway, regardless if Paddy wasn't interested, I still wanted to leave the club. Just down to my game time, and I thought it was, as I say, I look back at the league a couple of years ago, and I said I was too good for that league, and then you go to Glentoran, and you're all of a sudden sitting on the bench and you can't get a game. So it just shows you, when you're looking from the outside, it's not the case. So I wanted to go out and play games and show that I was good enough. So that was the reason I wanted to leave. I could have stayed at Glentoran and probably same again would have happened. Probably would have sat on the bench for most of the season and been a passenger. And if they have success this season with the league or whatever else, I probably would have been a passenger. And if I would have won a medal with them, it would have felt right for me. And happily now, got a medal with Kimpembe. So I knew Paddy was interested through Rory. Paddy, I know, knew me from Derry and had watched quite a lot of Derry games, so that's where the interest came from. And I was sort of hemming and hawing about going to Cliftonville just because it was part time. I'd always been full time, and just bit the bill up and went for it. And it was the best decision of my career. Up till now, it was definitely the best decision to come to Cliftonville because the way I've been playing this season, and the cup final there at the weekend was unbelievable experience, and I just want more of that, and hopefully we can get more of that.
Yeah, and as you've just mentioned, the cup final as well. So Cliftonville have already won trophy, and it's very tight at the top as well. They can still push for the cup or for the league title as well, and even the Irish Cup. Do you think Cliftonville can go for the treble?
There hasn't actually been that much talk of it within the change room of the manager, and there never is when it comes to Paddy. Paddy doesn't really like talking about it. We take it game by game. So our next game is always our most important game, which is Dungannon on Tuesday. So we don't even look that far forward. It's there's a lot of games to be played. We always wanted to give ourselves a chance of doing something this season. We won the League Cup. We're in with a chance for the league. We're in the chance of the Irish Cup. So that's what we wanted, and we take it game by game, and that's the way it works at Cromwell. So listen, if it happens, it happens. But we don't even look that far. It would be lovely to happen, but as players, I know when the League Cup has given us that bit, we want to win more trophies. So definitely the lads, we want to go on and win trophies at this club, and I definitely do. So hopefully there's more medals to come.
Yeah, and then we'll go on to the fact that you were playing for Northern Ireland at the time. Well, or you were playing for Northern Ireland under 21s. You were playing against the likes of Spain and France. And did you know you've played against? I've actually got a wee list out. You played against Fornals of West Ham and Adama Traoré, now of Barcelona.
Yeah.
Did you ever hear in the changing room before the match the look out for these certain names?
When we're playing international, you just have to look at the teams you're playing against. Most of the lads know roughly anyway, because when you're coming up against a big team like that, there's usually one or two lads searching, looking at their squad and seeing what sort of players they have and who they play for. So I think there's always that one player in the squad that looks through the other team's squad, and then the word gets around and they start talking about it. So at the time when we're playing the matches, we're aware of what sort of players they have and how good the players are. And at the time when we played against, for example, that time we played Spain, when they had Adama Traoré, and there was a couple of others. Rajabal, his name was. I think he was a right winger, plays at Real Sociedad.
Yep.
I think he was worth like 30 million. So you know all this information before the game, and you just have to try your hardest when you come up against players like that.
Yeah, and then you played against France under 21s as well, and I think maybe four the players, Kimpembe, Pavard, Lenglet, they're all playing at national level for their senior team. They just won the World Cup there as well. How big or how happy does that make you feel knowing that you've sort of played against them?
It's madness. It's surreal, to be fair. At the time, you don't really think much of. Well, to be fair, at the time, obviously the players hadn't done what they've done now, but it's just madness when you look back at what them players have went on and done and how good they are, currently. So, and I'm sitting playing for Cliftonville and all these lads are winning World Cups. No, but that's just the way football is. That it is what it is. I'm grateful I'm still playing football, but it's crazy to think that you're coming up to them types of players.
Yep, and I've one more question before we go. Who would you say is number one, your best mate at Cliftonville, and number two, the best player?
To be honest, I would say it's hard to say one best mate really.
That's right.
I would say Rory. Rory Hale, just because I've played with him for so long. but it's hard because I've never been in a change room before where everyone's mates with each other. There's usually like different groups of like people that get on, and you don't get on with everyone, but there would be like different groups of people that would be closer. But at Cliftonville, I don't get that. Like I get name off like 15, 20 people who I would say are my close mates at Cliftonville, and I'm sure they would say the same. And that's something I had never experienced before. And I think it's just the Cliftonville as a club. I think they've always been like that. And I was surprised when I first came in. So no, I think I would pick Rory just because I've played him the longest. But there's definitely we all get on with each other, and we're all pretty much best mates. And I'm sure they would all say the same. What was the other question? The best player?
Who's the best player? Yeah.
I have to say Joe, just because of what he's done in the league and his goal scoring record. And there's times in training where some of his finishes in training, I said it before, said to my mates and my dad and all, he's the best finisher I've ever played with. And you just have to stand back sometimes in training, just be like, wow, that's unbelievable. And that's just the way Joe is. And it just looks effortless to him at times. So I'll probably say Joe.
Yep. And just as you were saying there as well, everyone's mates with each other. Do you think that's why Cliftonville have done so well this year as well?
100%. I think that's part of the success. We're not just a team of 11. We're a team of 20, 22, 23 players. And we all want to do well for each other. So I think that's definitely down to it. I think if you had a wee bit of, the starting 11 that were only mates, and then the rest was sort of, bitching behind people's backs, you don't get that at Cliftonville. I think everyone wants everyone to do well, whether you're in the starting 11 or the 16 or the 20, 22, whatever it is. I think everyone wants, each other to do well. And it's definitely down to, why we've done so well this season.
Yep, and I think that's everything covered really, unless there's anything else you want to say.
No.
Nope. Yeah, so thanks very much for coming on, mate. I really appreciate it, and good luck for the rest of the season.
Thank you, mate, for having me.
Thanks a lot. Cheers. See you later.
Cheers.
Bye.